It's me, Shari, and Georgia, the puppy. Welcome. So, Bea,
We're
what's up?
we're now three. Di naman nagko-contribute ang host natin.
Cuteness.
Okay, so today our special guest is actually Mae Coyiuto. She is a new, young, budding, thriving writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yes.
just has a special book coming out next year, and the premise is amazing. So we're quite excited to go around and discuss this topic and ask her about love and relationships.
Yeah, handling rejection, Kaishao. It's a good conversation, guys. So,
Yeah,
listen. Enjoy. So, Bea told me a lot about you, May, about your book, and I'm super excited to know more. So, can you tell us, let's jump right in. Tell us about your book.
Sure. Well, actually, I've been working on it for so long, but I still have a hard time lang pitching it. But basically, it's a young adult novel. So it's about this Chinese Filipino girl she's just fresh out of high school and then she's going abroad for college. But then her dad suddenly starts setting her up or having her go on Kaishao dates with random boys in the attempt to make her stay in the Philippines. So yeah, that's the pitch.
I love this. When I saw it on Instagram and a couple of people posted it, I was like, this is it's not just specific to Filipino Chai community. I think also us, like, we always get tried to be set up by our parents, and I want to know, how did you draw inspiration? Is it based on your life? Is it a friend's life? I'm just curious about that because it seems like it could be real.
Yeah, honestly, like this is my first ever story na I wrote with the Chinese Filipino protagonist. Like, I think just because I grew up talaga reading more books in the US or even here, I think just like Filipino characters here. So it was either like I would write American characters or Filipino characters, so never like kind of a mix of my ethnicity and nationality. So this actually, I didn't think I was gonna write about Kaishou when I started. It was like from an assignment in grad school na it was supposed to be like our professor would give us a picture and then you were supposed to write a story based on that picture. It was supposed to be fantasy. And then she was, I don't really write fantasy, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll try. But then she was like, oh, you guys can make it contemporary if you want. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I wrote like, I think a chapter that was like on prom, and then basically super like none of that stayed in the current manuscript. And then I think, but it was someone who was Phil Chai, and then parang that class was like, I mean, they found it interesting that they never heard about that perspective. And then I think my professor said something about like, it's important to write what you know. And I was like, okay, let me kind of go with this direction and then see how it happens. And then I think the Kaishou plot just fell into it because so I've been set up a few times by my parents, all very awkward. And and parang when I would make kwento to my friends, they would always find it super entertaining. And then when I was writing, I was like, parang if they find it entertaining when I kwento to them, baka it could be a good story. And I was thinking na pwede siya gawing mas magulo pa if it's set in high school. So parang that's long story short how it started.
So to our audience go ahead, Bea.
No, I'm curious because you said that you've been set up by your parents.
Yeah.
Was there one instance that was like that you can't forget? That, you know, just so awkward. That,
the most awkward, cringeworthy.
Yeah,
setup.
It's so mean that I'm asking you to relive it, but I'm curious because we all have this, like, just to make you feel better. I was set up on my ball date and I thought it was really a mutual date. And then a few years, I think I just turned 30, and they told me that my uncle paid for that guy to be my ball date. So imagine, I mean, I guess everyone, I guess you tried.
Everyone's had a paid date.
No, everyone's been cared for by their family in weird ways. Yeah, so has something happened to you very similar? Or not the paid date?
I guess based on like your kwento, because with my parents, they mean really well. But I feel like it made like the setup situation is already kind of awkward, but it's more awkward if both parties aren't aware of what's happening. And that's like majority of what they did to me kasi. So like I remember there was this one time my parents were like, "Oy, May, let's have lunch." And when we got there was a random guy who was there then and they're not subtle kasi my parents. They would like make comments na parang, "Oh, you like this sport, she likes this sport." Tapos, and parang the guy kind of like, I mean, you kind of get it na when the parents are trying to set you up with their daughter, diba? So,
Yeah.
and then they'd be, "Oh, look, someone arrived here, our friend, let's go say hi." And like, so, parang just those situations. And the guys I've been set up with naman, they're all really nice. But I think kasi I'm also the type of person who kind of needs to parang needs time to get to know someone then. So the whole setup scenario doesn't, parang I tend to be more awkward lang in those situations.
Before we do jump to the next question, tell us, what is your type though?
Yeah.
My type, I guess, too vague, but to say just like a nice guy. I guess like I really like guys then who make me laugh then. I think medyo must yun sa akin. And I tend to like sporty guys then, I guess.
Oh, sporty.
Funny and sporty. Paano ba yung combination na yun? Parang it's a rare breed.
Oh my.
No, you were like jock type.
That's funny.
Pero, yeah. Like yung
And
goofy,
I like guys then
goofy.
who write well. So parang it's kind
Okay,
of
that's
a
all.
lot of...
Have to pick. Do you want a jock or a writer?
But you know what? I'll show you this backstage. I had a crush, remember Shari, si ano, B.
Oh, si Pogi.
He was
yes.
a rugby player, writer. He read prolifically and he was cute. I will show you later. You can't mention it baka in case he listens to this episode.
Nakakilig yung level of Pogi niya. So, to our audience who don't really understand what the word Kaishao means, can you define it?
Actually, I feel like when this comes out, I'll be like, oh, magiging spokesperson about ng Kaishou. But anyways, it's I think it's a Hokkien term. I mean, I'm just saying from based on what I know and like what I've looked up online. Then, so in Hokkien, I think it technically means to introduce. So I guess it's just like when your parents or your friends kind of introduce you to someone they think would be a good match for you romantically. I think that's like my interpretation of it. And I think before it was more official na like if you meet then like there's like the connotation of marriage and like permanent link involved. But like I think now it's like you just meet someone and then you don't have to like them, you don't have to like date them, but it's like an option, I guess. So I guess it's like having people set you up.
It's like a referral system.
Yeah.
How come you never Kaisha'd me, Bea?
Do you see my track record? I wouldn't even trust me. I wouldn't trust me to refer anyone. Like I don't think I should be referring people.
Didn't we talk about something that like some girl took it so seriously about getting set up that she did like a referral bonus? Like she would actually, if somebody successfully set her up and it led to marriage, I think she was supposed to give that person like $1,000 or something. So people aggressively set her up. I don't know if it was success, but you know, it's interesting.
Money motivates.
Someone messaged me nga, I think they saw the post about the book and they were like, May, have you heard about the Kaishou Queen? Tapos I'm like, who is the Kaishou Queen? And basically there's this auntie though who like sets up, parang you give her like who your type or like what you want, and then she has like a huge network siguro, and then she's like this person's perfect for you, something like that. So high daw yung success rate niya, but I don't know where she is or
we need to find
who
this
she is. And does she also do Filipinos or is she exclusively for the Chinese Phil-Chi community? We have to.
That I'm not sure.
Wow. Okay.
We can be our own Kaishao Queens, Bea. Let's try.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Shari's a more picky. I think to be a Kaishao Queen or like someone that sets up, you need to have a good eye for detail.
Discerning.
Hindi naman pwedeng like me, pwede na yan. Sige, gumagalaw. Humihinga, okay na yan.
Mabait naman. Okay na yan.
Yeah. May, I'm curious, you've probably done a lot of research on this book, and are there any like success or horror stories that you heard from friends or even people you just spoke to about when you researched the book?
I think it's interesting because like I think I base it a lot on high school experiences because like my protagonists are like they're all fresh out of high school or like first year college. So I think it does Kaishou doesn't usually happen I think that early. I mean like I feel like parents naman aren't like when you're 18, 17 like okay must be married na soon. So but I've heard like more I guess now that I'm in my 20s na and stuff, I've been hearing more of like people who actually go on Kaishou, so we're like more open to it, I guess. Before, kasi I think it was like, why would we get set up? Parang we can find people on our own. But now they're like, it's hard pala to find people on their own. So like they ask their friends or I guess their parents or like other people to set them up na. But yeah, I've heard a few success stories and like honestly wala pa masyadong horror stories. More like I guess unsuccessful dates lang and stuff. So.
I think it can't be so much of a horror. It's actually a good na, it's such people know each other, so you would be more careful with how you act.
Yeah,
but how acceptable is it now in the younger generation? Because I'm assuming before it was like a normal thing, but now when you feel like you're getting Kaishou, is there more of a resistance to people your age, or people are just like, yes, Kaishou me mom, Kaishou me dad?
I think with parents it's a mix. I think people are more open if it's like with friends or even friends' parents. I think with parents because I think it's a little too close for comfort minsan. And but yeah, I think now it's kung friends. I think most of the people I know are kind of open to it na rin. Yeah. It's like who knows you better than like your closest group of friends din.
Right.
You're right about the parents though, because recently I've been opening up to my parents about Tinder. I tried to explain to them Tinder and Bumble, and then now every dinner it's like their reference is so good. Like they're like, oh, you matched with this French guy. Ano na nangyari?
Really?
I was like there's a follow-up and it's scary because like every time you go to dinner you're like, are they gonna ask me about that person who didn't message me yet? Nakaka-stress siya.
It's like added pressure. Your parents.
That's so cool though that they're open to, I mean like talking about like apps. When I mentioned it to my parents because they're like, they met online? How could you meet online? Like sino mga nandun and stuff like that.
I know. It's so different than now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're open. They're desperate about it. They're desperate to make sure that
anyway. I mean, especially now, they just have to be accepting. Because how else are we gonna meet men? We're trapped.
Especially
we're
in the pandemic.
Rapunzel.
And,
we're all kind of Rapunzel now, so we only have our phones.
Yeah, but like the method of following up certain people, it's like, wait, I just slept. Like it's from dinner to breakfast. I was working during the day, like I didn't have time, and they were like, full time ka na dyan. Diyan ka na mag full time. I was like, okay, alright.
Okay, so May, let's go back to your book. So you got Penguin House to publish your book. Congratulations. So how did you go through that whole thing?
So the way publishing works in the US, so these publishers like Penguin, like Simon Schuster, those big names, they don't, or I think actually even the smaller publishers, most of them don't look at manuscripts unless they're represented by an agent. So for writers, the first step is to get signed with an agent. So basically, like for a long time, that was my main goal, just to get represented, and then. Luckily, I had someone who was super interested in the concept back in 2018, and actually super fun fact because like my agent's husband is Chinese Filipino, so like I think like when she saw the manuscript, she's like, oh my god, parang it's my husband. But anyway, so after that we went into revisions just to get it in like the best shape possible to submit to editors. So I think that was the first time we tried. Or she tried pitching to editors was 2019 or late 2018, and that took like almost a year because she would email them the synopsis and like a pitch letter, and then if they liked it they would ask for the whole thing, and if they don't they would just say like, oh sorry, it's a pass. So apparently it was like about 10-12 editors, and eventually, like, all of them kind of passed on the manuscript, and then after that we just kind of like talked again, and then my agent asked me if I wanted to pursue this manuscript, or another option would be I would write another story and try with that. But I really like this concept kasi, and I felt like I just had like something in my gut that told me it could be better pa. So we worked on revisions for that again, and once my agent felt like it was ready last September 2020, and then she started submitting to editors again. And she, like, one of the editors was someone from Penguin, and actually the one who got my manuscript was actually the co-worker of the editor she submitted it to. So basically, long story short, like, it took a long process, but super lucky lang na she liked it, and that happened in last November. But I couldn't I was telling Shari nga kanina na I couldn't announce anything or post about it until they made the announcement, which was 3 weeks ago. So so like my family now was like, yay, natuloy pala siya. I'm like, yay.
It's so stressful when I think when you want to share the news but you can't, right? But I'm really curious. You seem really calm, and I heard from Tia you're also very calm. So I'm just, how do you deal with rejection? Like, it's not easy to go through. I think nowadays, how old are you, like 20s or
26?
Yeah, so I think nowadays people want instant gratification. Like, it's they want to do something this month and they want it done within the month, but like with a book it takes a long time. And how did you handle that rejection? I'm sure it wasn't always so easy. Could you just walk us through what it was like the last couple years since 2018, right?
Yeah. Honestly, like, I feel like I'm still working on it, like trying not to take like or base my self-worth on how people take my work, or because like a lot of my work has to do with writing and stuff. So and with rejections then it's just hard to, I mean, people say don't take it personally, but it's hard, like masala after like so much, you're just like, shucks, maybe this isn't meant for me and stuff like that. And I think if like this last submission with editors didn't pan out, I'm not sure if I would be like, let's try again. Feel ko I would need like a break talaga and be like, okay, I need to like gather myself, because it's hard. It's like it kind of hurts your heart then to like see something you care about and like not see it happen. But yeah, I think I'm also working on just because like with writing kasi it just takes so long for anything to get publishing. It takes so long for anything to get done. So I'm just trying to make sure I celebrate like even small wins. Like before, when I was trying to get an agent, if like one of them rejected me, but they said like, oh, I like this part. So before kasi I wouldn't really pay attention to like compliments or when people would say good things about my work, because I feel like what would I learn if I just listen to someone say it's good? But parang now I'm learning to be like, there's value then in like taking a compliment and not just hearing all the my mind, because I think it just processes all the criticism all the time. So now I'm just like, okay, I remember like the small wins, and those kind of help me through the long haul then. But yeah, I don't think I have, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I don't think I have like a one piece of advice or takeaway then from experiencing all the rejections. But yeah, I think it's just something that it took a lot of time, and I'm just happy that it happened then.
Yeah, I think you answered it quite well. You said something about taking and accepting compliments as well, and not just focusing on the negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you did say something about rejection can be heartbreaking. But yeah, I'm curious, we are a show about love and relationships. What would your advice be to the perpetually heartbroken women out there?
Wow. I guess it's funny because like I don't think I ever, parang when I do talk to people, it's usually about writing and like kind of like the how to pursue a career in writing. So now I'm like, magahugot pala ako here. But I think I don't know, heartbreak with, I guess, romantically, and also with, I think with your career, I think like for any industry, like if you apply to a job and get rejected, that's also a heartbreak. And I think for all types of rejection or kind of like heartbreak like that, there's this assumption or expectation from so many people na you're supposed to get over it really quickly. Or I think people rush a lot of heartbroken people too much sometimes na I think for me, like with every time I got a no, I had to talk to myself or like think to myself na it's not like I have to be ready na the next day to like write again, pitch again. And it doesn't matter if this person naman is able to write constantly, but I have my own timeline. And like I think that's also the same with with like heartbreak in your love life. Then like if it takes you a longer time to process the hurt you felt from someone, then take that time you need. Then or if it takes you like a shorter time, then that's probably you're the one naman who can say what you need then to recover. So yeah.
I know. I think we cornered you about this whole love thing because I remember I sent you the questions. Like, there's so many love questions because I think what we were particularly interested in when I told Sherry about your story was like when people write and you spend a lot of time on like creating a book. That's kind of like relationships. Like you invest a lot of time, and then there's also that idea of rejection and all that. And we like for me, it's like you can learn from others. It's like not so easy when you learn from other people and breakups. It's not like, okay, Shari did this with her breakup, I'm gonna do the same. But if you can relate it to another kind of industry, baka lang. Baka lang. But it's not easy to get a no. I don't know, Shari, what do you think? Yeah.
And I can't even say no to food. I mean, rejection in general is difficult. Giving a rejection or receiving rejection is hard.
Yeah, and what you said about like celebrating the wins, because I think sometimes when you put work out there, or even if you put yourself out, let's say going on a date, and then you don't know if someone compliments you, you're like, or nagsisinungaling tong tao na to, or like,
I think that's a Filipino thing. Us as a culture, we're mahiyain, like with especially with compliments. You're like, hindi kaya. We gotta train ourselves to like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Maganda nga, thank you.
Or you're so focused on the outcome because like I remember my dad again. I mean, my parents have been so hands-on on my situation.
Have they been hounding you, Bea, the past few weeks? I feel like every conversation we've had, you're like, my dad said this, my mom said that.
I would say they've been hounding me. That's why I was like so interested in your plot, because I was like, I feel like whether you're Chinese or Filipino or any other, I think more Asian culture, your parents are so scared for you to not have someone. Like it's such a parang it's such a currency of a woman if they're not wanted by a man. Like it affects your value, which is weird. But what was I saying about my dad? He was like, I went on a date, and then he said right after, he's like, is there a second date? Are you gonna propose? Are you guys gonna get engaged? I was like, wait a minute, it's the first date. Just calm your horses, calm whatever you have ongoing. But I get it. Like I think it's the hardest thing. But what's the best and worst love or relationship or friendship advice you've gotten from people that are close to you? I think people give unsolicited and solicited advice. So I'm curious what someone has shared with you.
I think actually I don't know if it's like recent. I guess just because like I think at this point a lot of people, or like my friends now, I have a lot of friends who have been like in relationships with like people for a while now, since college, or like I don't think since high school, but like kind of long-term relationships. And I think the best and worst advice have been coming from that point. Na some people tell me na if you're a successful woman, or if you're like a stronger woman, you kind of have to be less intimidating for a guy to like you, which I really don't like that advice. And then I guess the best one naman, I guess, is from people who tell me then na just because nga you're because like now I'm starting to feel the pressure because like, or I just see like on social media or like with my circle of friends, then a lot of people are getting engaged or like in like long-term relationships, and I'm nowhere near that, near any of that. So and some people have been telling me naman na it's better to stay single rather than settle, which I think is super important then to tell, especially like someone in their a woman in their late 20s or 30s or 40s. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's very important not to settle. We can get so pressured, or like the next one, ito na yun, even if things just aren't right, and then down the road, you pay for it. You're stuck in this terrible marriage because you settled when you were young. So yeah, Bea, how about you? I'm curious, since you've been getting a lot of advice from your parents the past few weeks, any best or terrible advice that you've gotten as of late?
I get the same, like, you have to be toned down, like you need to parang the whole, because I'm like, I just love like career, like I'm obsessed with not career but the purposeful work, not like corporate ladder. I just like doing work. So I think sometimes the best advice would be, gosh, the best advice is I don't know ba, Shari, I feel like
Ikaw ko, kaya ang dami mo nakuha the past few
I know, just ang dami ko nga nakuha eh. Siguro, don't waste time, I think, is the best advice. Like, I definitely am the kind of person that persists. So if like the way I work with career is the same way I work with relationships, like until the
try and try.
try until you get, when something is not practical already, I think, yeah, you gotta rethink that. Worst advice? I haven't, you know what? I wouldn't say anything I've gotten was really the worst advice, because I think it's like anything is good feedback. Whatever, anything. Like the one time they were saying like you have to post, like you have to post more, like men are visual creatures. So they're saying like, I don't like to post photos of myself. I post stuff of my work, but they always tell me like, no man likes hardworking women. Di naman naghahanap ng hardworking. This is not a job interview, Bea. I was like, because like, I think that's pretty one of them. But yeah, pretty much. I don't know. This is a very cloudy subject, really. That's why I wanted to interview Bea, because it's like, at least writing, that's interesting. Parang I think when we talk so much about relationships, nakakapagod siya, Shari.
Nakakapagod siya, but somehow, I don't know, it's exciting because people always have different views. People say the weirdest things, but somehow when you connect all of them, it all kind of makes sense naman. Even the the annoying advice, I agree with May. One of the most annoying things I hear is like, don't be too strong a woman, men will be intimidated. But then if you take that advice, you just realize that you have to find a man who can handle you. That's one, and you gotta play the game a little bit. Like throw them a bone, be like, oh my god, can you help me with this? Even if you're that you're more than capable enough to carry your own grocery bags, but then just whatever.
Hindi ko kaya yun. Hindi ko kaya yun ganun. I would rather na mahirapan ako sa grocery.
Even sa grocery, they're like, ma'am, can we help you? I was like, no, kaya ko to. I'm like lugging everything by myself. The pride. But see, maybe that's why this finger is feeling light,
Sure. But yeah,
Strong from all the grocery bags.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should just focus on the show, like she's focusing on her writing.
I know
exactly.
So, May, before we ask you to tell us a bit more about your book, we have one last question for you. And it's Bea's personal favorite question. May, tell us, what is love?
Wow. What is love? I guess I have like a very big I guess love for me is like just things or whatever thing I get, things, people, your career, things that make you feel like you're easy to love, I guess. I don't know if that breaks the rules. I'm using love as like a definition, but I don't know, I guess like the most fulfilling friendships I've had or relationships I've had are just like when I feel like, parang like this person or like find so many things to love about myself or like makes me feel like, parang makes me feel better about myself. That makes sense. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it does. That's a nice.
You don't want to be around people that don't make you feel good. Like, why love someone or something, if it doesn't make you feel good?
And I like the sentence that makes it feel like somebody who makes you feel like you're easy to love is a nice statement. Ano may parang ayaw mo namang hirap-hirap yung tao sa'yo, di ba?
Parang sad naman if you're with someone who's like nahihirapan na siya to love. Parang to find things to love about you. I'm like, ay, okay.
You're like, di wag. Whatever. I can carry my own groceries. Yan naman eh.
Saan pang grocery pumupunta?
Iba-iba. I love a good grocery. Kaya this pandemic has been torture. I haven't been to a grocery in a long time. So, Mae, we are towards the end of our interview. Just tell us just about your book, so our audience can look forward to when it's gonna come out.
So right now, we're still in revision. So hopefully, I make all my deadlines and everything goes well. But going the Kaishao Boys will be released hopefully late next year. But yeah, I think that's all the details I have for now. But hopefully late 2022.
We are so excited.
I'm gonna be my entire family. I told them about the plot, and they're like, my parents are really into Crazy Rich Asian. Those typical they just they're so interested in that community that I think this will be really good. And I guess how can people keep in touch with you with writing and your work? What's the best way?
I guess I'm on social media then just Mae Coyiuto on Instagram and Twitter. I work for Youngstar too. I don't write a lot in Youngstar, but I help just my job is mostly helping these amazing writers put out their content and artists. So just really good content on Youngstar Fills, and our issues get out every Friday. And but yeah, I try to share. Actually, my Instagram is kind of all over the place, but sometimes I share some of my writing stuff there too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for indulging us with a lot of love questions. I know you were probably like, what show did we get into?
She's like, these 30-year-olds asking you about love.
I know. But I mean, it's good to learn from other people as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like a tita.
Congratulations! What a great accomplishment. I want the signed copy one day. I'm gonna purchase it and please sign it for me.
Yeah,
and be an honor.
And don't tone yourself down. I think that's important. Just keep being yourself. Diba?
Carry your own groceries.
I'll bring my own grocery bags.
No, unless someone offers.
Or somebody Bea will show you later. If somebody that looks like that offers to carry your groceries, you'd say yes. Okay. But yeah, so thank you everybody for listening. Stay thirsty, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, that was such a good conversation, Bea, right? I'm so excited for this book about Kaishao. Tell me, did you learn something new from our guest today?
Celebrating the small wins, especially with rejection. I feel like you can focus too much on that, and actually don't take it too personal, but also celebrate the small wins. So yeah, I think. How about you?
I agree. That is my favorite lesson of the day. Also, celebrate the small wins and learn how to accept a compliment. And then don't listen to the negative all the time. Don't beat yourself up.
And don't be against a referral system. I think that's good.
Yeah. Right. I think the lesson here, what I want to impart to our audience is be open to getting yourself set up and also set people up. That's your project. Find your single friends, set them up. Who knows? That could be your good deed of the week.
Yes. Be good. Be charitable. Be giving. Refer someone to me. Thank you guys.
Stay safe, everybody, and slide in our DMs for whoever we're gonna set up with Bea. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.